Welcome to today's episode, The Truth About Ghosting. We're stepping into the hushed corridors of contemporary relationships to decode one of the most puzzling behaviors of our time, ghosting. It's that sudden silence that leaves you wondering, the messages that never get a response, the calls that echo in the void. But what exactly is ghosting? It's when someone quite abruptly cuts off all communication with you, leaving you with questions that have no answers. Ghosting isn't exclusive to the realm of romantic relationships. It can creep into friendships and professional relationships too. And here's a myth we should dispel right off the bat. Ghosting isn't always about you. Yes, you heard that right. It's often more about the ghoster, their personal circumstances, or their inability to confront issues. So ghosting often has more to do with the ghoster's personal issues or circumstances than anything the ghosted party did. Now, why would someone choose to ghost? It's a question many of us have asked. The reasons are as varied as the individuals involved, but there are some common themes. For some, ghosting is a form of self-preservation. It's an attempt to avoid confrontation or the discomfort of saying goodbye. Others might ghost because they're dealing with emotional overload. They might feel overwhelmed by their circumstances and choose to retreat into silence as a coping mechanism. But here's the thing. These motivations are often less about the person being ghosted and more about the ghoster's personal struggles. It's a reflection of their emotional state, their coping mechanisms, and their approach to relationships. It's not necessarily a judgment on the person they've ghosted. As we can see, ghosting can be a complex coping mechanism, not just an easy way out. Now, let's bust some ghosting myths. First up, the notion that ghosting is a product of our digital era. Yes, the term ghosting might be relatively new, but the act itself, not so much. Ghosting, in essence, is the act of disappearing without a trace, leaving the other party in a state of confusion and bewilderment. This behavior has been around as long as relationships have. The advent of technology has merely provided a new platform for it to occur. Another common misconception is that only sensitive people get ghosted. This couldn't be farther from the truth. Ghosting is not selective. It does not discriminate. Whether you're sensitive or assertive, introverted or extroverted, anyone can become a victim of ghosting. It's not about you. It's about the ghoster's inability or unwillingness to communicate or confront their emotions. Lastly, there's a myth that ghosting is always intentional. While it's true that some ghosters deliberately ignore calls and messages, others may unintentionally drift away due to life circumstances or emotional overwhelm. It's not always a calculated move to hurt or confuse. So let's reiterate. Ghosting is not a new trend, and it certainly doesn't just happen to sensitive people. Understanding these myths and realities can help us navigate the complex world of modern relationships with more clarity and less distress. If you've been ghosted, know that you're not alone and there are ways to cope. Healing from ghosting starts with acknowledging the hurt. It's okay to feel confused, rejected, or even angry. Allow yourself the space to grieve the sudden loss. From there, self-care becomes a crucial part of the healing journey. Engage in activities that uplift you, whether it's a quiet walk in the park, a calming yoga session, or a comforting cup of tea. Surround yourself with loved ones who can offer support and understanding during this time. Seek professional guidance if you find the impact of ghosting to be overwhelming. Importantly, hold on to the truth that being ghosted is not a reflection of your worth, but rather, it's a statement about the ghoster's inability to handle their emotions or confront difficult situations. Remember, ghosting speaks more about the ghoster's inability to deal with their own emotions than it does about your worth or desirability. Understanding the truth about ghosting helps demystify the pain and confusion surrounding this action. We've unveiled the ghost, explored their motivations, busted myths, and discussed ways to heal. Remember, being ghosted often reflects more on the ghoster's struggles than on you. If you found value in this episode, please like, share, and subscribe for more relationship revelations. Next, we're diving deeper into the emotional narratives and silent stories behind ghosting. Keep seeking the truth behind the screens and join us next time.